So more bats are coming off the board and signing before spring training comes into full effect. Rob Manfred, almost done as a commissioner. And some Yankee stuff to talk about too. Let's get into that right now. Hey gang, I hope you're all doing well. So there's some bats that are coming off the board, and this is not surprising. There's still there's almost 100 players that are still not signed. Some of the big ones too. The last big bat to sign was, I think, Jorge Soler. This past week, Whit Merrifield signed a one-year deal with the Phillies yesterday. It's a perfect fit for them, giving them a crafty veteran who can play multiple positions. Great value for the Phillies. They've also added, I think, David Dahl, I think, a pitcher. Daniel Vogelbach is off the market now. He signed a deal with the Blue Jays, who've added multiple bats. G-Man Choi used to be a former Yankee, also Yankee killer when he was with Tampa. He was like almost Garrett Cole's personal batting practice pitcher when he pitched games, which is crazy. But he signed a deal with the Mets as well. So guys are coming off the board. But now this man, remember him? Randall Grichuk? We talked to him when he was with the Rockies, right? And talking about how he could be a decent fit for the Yankees at the trade deadline. That didn't pan out, but this guy was a relatively decent contact hitter who had a tendency to hit clutch. But Jeff Passan's reporting he just signed a one-year, about a $1.5 million deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Diamondbacks have been adding bats too. They've added Jock Peterson, right? They've also added Eduardo Rodriguez, the pitcher, too. So they've quietly gotten better, as have the Giants too. So the NL West is going to be a pretty formidable division. I mean, it really, really, really is. So they're one of the teams, Diamondbacks, who have been quietly getting better. I mean, it really, really has. Now, the other team that's been quietly getting better, too, is the Royals. Okay, they just acquired John Schreiber. He was a pitcher with the Boston Red Sox, a relief pitcher, 29-year-old righty. Okay, he was 2-1 with a 3.86 ERA in 2023. 46 innings pitched, 53 strikeouts, got a career 3.58 ERA, 8-6 record in 139 games, 143 innings pitched, 165 strikeouts. So a decent arm there. And again, another valuable piece for the Royals, who've been quietly stockpiling players too on the pitching side and the offensive side. So good for them as well. And they also locked up their stud shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., to a mammoth extension too. I put out a video on that too. So no matter who your team is, if you're a fan, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, especially if it's the Yankees, obviously. I'll make sure that you get all the news that you need and all the news that you're looking for. And if you want to be at the front of the line, one of the first people to get the news, just hit the notification button too when you subscribe. And if you enjoy the content, hit the like button too. I thank you so much for it. Now, a couple other things, okay? Rob Manfred, okay, just announced, was yesterday, I think, that he's going to be done in 2029. Yes, it's 5 years away, but his new contract is not going to be renewed. He's not going to try to stay on as MLB commissioner. So in 2029, there'll be a new commission. And why is this good news? Well, he's relatively hated across baseball, so by a lot of fans and a lot of folks. So this could be pleasant news and welcome news to some people. I personally think, and I still think, Theo Epstein would be a logical fit to replace him. This guy's got mad street cred in baseball. I know he just joined the Red Sox Fenway Sports Group as a owner, a partial owner for the Red Sox, and an advisor there. So that might be a conflict of interest. But again, if you have an opportunity to be the MLB commissioner, then he might move on to greener pastures. But we'll see what happens there. Commissioners make a boatload of money. So Rob Manfred's going to be done in 2029. Now, pivoting to the Yankees, Brian Cashman gets real. I mean, he says a few things. Yesterday, he all but acknowledged that, and Juan Soto's probably a one-year deal. He's definitely going to, at the very least, get the free agency. We kind of all knew that already. Yeah, we're hoping that they would give him an offer that he can't refuse. But this is Scott Boras's probably biggest client, or one of his biggest clients ever. So it'd be insane to not let him get the free agency. But the Yankees are still in the front driver's seat here. And if the Yankees win, they play well this year, they'll have every opportunity to give this man an extension. And remember, the higher they come in with an initial offer for an extension, the more teams it's going to close out. But there are teams that have been willing to spend this most recently. The Giants, the Blue Jays, whiffed out on Shohei Ohtani, even though they offered him $700 million also. So they could be a fit. So a couple other teams. I can't see the Mets doing it, but you never know. And obviously the Yankees will be in the running too. So, but there'll be probably 2 or 3 teams that are willing to be fighting to the end there in round 15 for the heavyweight title with the Yankees for Juan Soto. So, and it's going to be like the Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed fight in Rocky 2, where it goes to the very end. Yeah, something like one of those. So, but the Yankees got the great white. They got the prize, the grand prize at the trade at the end of this offseason. So they have every opportunity to lock this man up, okay, in an extension and secure him his services for the future. He's 25 years old. He's exactly what they need. He crosses off every box for the Yankees. So, and I really, really do hope. And again, I mean, mathematically, just being a math nerd, I don't think it's I wouldn't even waste my time with a $500 million. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, right? Excuse me. I wouldn't even waste my time with a $500 million offer. I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't come in anything under 600, even if it's 12 years, 50 million per, or 13 million, 40 something per, or whatever. That's still 100 million less than Shohei Ohtani got from LA Dodgers, and he's 5 years younger than Shohei Ohtani. So, that's gonna. I'm telling you, that's going to be a very serious negotiation. It's going to be a war next year. But again, it's going to be a war just for half a handful of teams. The other handfuls are not going to be able to afford it. The contract that he's going to command, especially if he has a good year, and I expect him to have a good year. And speaking of good years, Gleyber Torres is going into his contract year, as is Alex Verdugo, as is Juan Soto. I expect all 3 of these guys to have a good year. And Gleyber Torres admitted to that, acknowledged that the Yankees have not even approached him on extension talks. So, and like I said, I don't think personally, I could be wrong, but they have so much infield depth that it doesn't make sense to give him an extension at this point, even though he's still 26 going into 27. He's still young, and they could probably get him on a good deal. I think he'll have many more prime years, and he's durable, and he's a good hitter, and he's a good fit on this team. I get it, but is that going to make it harder for them to extend Soto? Like, do they have to make those choices? Or can they let him walk with a qualifying offer and let Alex Verdugo walk with a qualifying offer and get 4 draft picks back and and $2 million in international money added to their coffers? So these are things to think about. Okay, and so yeah, I mean, and Cashman was straightforward about that. He said, "No, we haven't really discussed it with Gleyber Torres yet." And again, he's not not really going to beat around the bush. He'll tell you stuff that you don't want to hear. I'd rather have that if he's being straightforward. I'm not here to just like we don't do it here. We don't tell people what they want to hear if it isn't true, just because they want to hear it. Okay, Cashman doesn't really do that either. So he'll give it to you like it is, and gotta appreciate him for that. There's reasons to be critical of him, sure, of course, but he said the things that we were probably dreading, but we kind of knew that was true anyway, right? That Juan Soto is very likely going to make it to free agency, and he'll probably because he'll be probably the biggest free agent ever. So, and Gleyber Torres is likely going to make it to free agency without an extension from the Yankees because of the infield depth that they have behind him, and they've got a ton of it. So, still remains to be seen. But make sure stay tuned, gang, because there's a lot more news coming. There's going to be a lot more guys. I'm basically on countdown for Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. Not necessarily to come to the Yankees, just to sign, period. The longer they wait, the less spring preparation they're going to have. And either the more injury risk is going to be proposed for the season, or the more time into the season they're going to be eating into with an extended spring to get the appropriate spring buildup. So, and we're going on almost a week already into pitchers and catchers where they haven't signed yet. We're on 4 days, but every day, 5 days, every day, and they don't sign is a day that that's they're losing as part of their preparations, and their buildup is different than offensive players are, than the hitters are. Offensive players need to get their timing back, and it generally takes 3 to 4 weeks. These guys have a long ramp up. They've got to build their innings. They've got to do all this stuff as well and make sure that everything's clicking on all cylinders so that they can have a full season. And again, I'll give you Carlos Rodon from the Yankees as a prime example. He did not have a full spring, and that ate into him, and it basically demolished his year. So my fear is that the same thing could happen with Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. But we'll see what happens. But that's what I got for you right now. Some more guys off the board. Rob Manfred is done in 2029. Kind of Xing the days off the calendar. And Cashman, straight up stuff. Straight up. So keep it coming. Talk to you next time.